next recipe we're starting on will be the black bean and mole chili with sweet corn and optional turkey for the flexitarians in the crew. So you can either do it just the black beans, like I have it right now. I have some ground turkey with oregano already cooked, and we'll top it with warm corn with cilantro. Does anyone have any issues with cilantro? Okay, some people hate it, so I don't want anyone to hate my stuff there. Oh, you don't like cilantro? I can keep some out for you if you prefer. So we'll top off the chili with some sour cream and corn, and I'll serve at the table when we're done. And then the last recipe, this next recipe will be the spinach pear salad with chocolate vinaigrette, which is basically just another one of our fruit and nut nice winter recipes. But we're doing a chili, chocolate. So we're doing a sort of a nice little savory dressing, which is going to be fun. And the very last thing, the chocolate raspberry gratins, is a wonderful recipe from Jacques Pepin, who's an idol of mine. He and Julia Child did a lot of work together, and I adore this recipe. I use it a lot. It's so super simple, and I love to have the chocolate chip cookies on hand. We did the chocolate chip recipes last week, or we did cookie recipes last week. You can use any cookie that you like, but I like the chocolate chip. So now we'll go ahead and start. And we're doing a pressure cooker class tonight as well. So I brought my pressure cooker, my favorite Fagor pressure cooker. We talked about the pressure cooker a little bit before everyone got here tonight. And I can go from this afternoon when I got in at 12. I did my shopping for the class. And one thing you'll see is that it calls for dried black beans. And I went from a bag of beans to cooked beans and chili in 15 minutes. So it's just incredible. I can live without my pressure cooker, but I wouldn't want to. So I've got my pressure cooker up here at medium high, and I'm going to go ahead and add olive oil and wait for it to heat up just a little bit. This is the second recipe, the black bean and mole chili. I have the onion already chopped. I'm going to chop a red bell pepper. I'm not going to add any more jalapenos because the chili that I have in the crock pot right now is spicy enough, so I'm not going to add any more jalapenos. But I will add more garlic, the crushed tomatoes. We didn't have ancho chili powder downstairs, so what I got instead was this mole. This is in the international section of the store. And mole is what we're doing, is a mole. And so I looked and I was hoping that it would have anchos, ancho chilies, and sure enough it did. It has basically everything that we're going to be using here in the recipe. It's in a paste form, but I'm going to add everything else again, so I'm going to bump it up. So I'm adding this instead of the ancho chili powder. And it's got sugar, it's got ancho, it's got chocolate. It's got sesame, it's got a lot of good stuff in it. It's really good. But I'm still going to add additional chocolate, a little more sugar, paprika. So I'm just going to pump it up just a little bit. And this is getting hot, so we'll go ahead and start. Now what I'm going to do is I realize that this is the only view that we have, so I'm going to bring my cutting board over, put it on top of the grill, because you guys can see it over here, right? You can see what I'm doing right here. All right. Now the red pepper this is such a cool recipe because the red pepper goes in with all the other vegetables. So it's kind of a, but you want to get all of your vegetables prepped before you start adding it into the pot. Right now my oil's getting nice and hot, so I can go ahead and chop. Did you see how I cut the pepper? Went around. Super simple. It gets all the white membrane out too. It's just really quick. It's a nice little party trick. Ah, you come to learn the party tricks. I know. All right, and so you just kind of give these a rough chop because everything's going to get kind of cooked in pretty well. So I'm just going to give this a rough chop. And I'd already taken care of the onion earlier. And I do this all the time. And this is just me, but you guys can do it too. I mean, whenever it calls for 2 of anything, I always get 2 different of anything. So this is like a white onion and a yellow onion. And I just it calls for 1 large onion. And so I like both the yellow and the white onion, so I just did half of each. I just think, I mean, it may just be me, but I think it just adds a little depth of flavor if you have different versions of the same animal. Like anytime I do any apples, anything, I always get like 3 or 4 different apples kinds. I don't care what it tells me the recipe says. You guys all know how to, y'all saw that bash. You know how to take care of garlic, right? Okay. I usually get rid of the hard ends of it. That's a culinary school thing that. And I'm not going to add any more jalapenos. But when you're cutting jalapeno, you can do the same thing with chilies that you did with the red pepper. You can just go around the pepper with your knife. Okay, I've got everything. I've got the onion, the red bell pepper, no jalapenos because they're in there already, 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to the pot. Any questions so far? Anyone have any questions? Okay. Yeah, the very first thing you guys had when you came in was the spiced snack mix, and like I said, if you want to, you can actually add some white chocolate to it if you want to make it like a people chow. You can add more cinnamon. You can add more ginger. Of course, you can add more nuts, and of course, you can add more M&Ms. Okay, so this is just gonna melt down just a little bit. It's just sort of soften up. I can move that over. I am going to go ahead and use put the spices in here now. The recipe says to put the spices in a little bit later, but since I've got this mole paste that I'm using, I'm going to go ahead and incorporate that into the pot right now. This is about a tablespoon and a half of the mole paste. I'm sorry? No, they don't. They don't. They don't have the ancho chili downstairs. So I found this mole paste that does have the ancho chili, and so that's what we're using. And I'm just bumping it up. I'm just adding. I'm just like making it like more mole. See how this gets really pretty, and just this is a really good paste. This mole paste. If you like this recipe, and you like Mexican food. Or mole is, you can get mole pretty much anywhere in Central America. Chocolate is, ma'am? Mole is, it's the sauce. It's the paste. And the mole uses ancho chili. Ancho chili is a long chili, and you usually have to toast it. You toast the chili, and then you incorporate. But in this recipe, we've used ancho chili powder. If we had ancho chili powder, which we don't. But actually, basically, mole is just it's like an enchilada sauce with chocolate. Because again, this is a chocolate class, so I wanted to get as much chocolate going as we possibly could. So this is Central America and South America is where chocolate comes from. So it's a huge thing. I'm going to take it off the burner for just a minute so it doesn't burn at the bottom of the pot. Turn the pot down just a little bit. And now everything's nice and incorporated. All the chili powder, the mole paste rather, and then the additional ingredients for the mole, which was the chocolate, the paprika, the sugar, a little salt. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add the beans now. And another reason not to use canned beans in this recipe is that you use the liquid. Use the cooking liquid from your beans. So that actually gives the basis of the chili, is the cooking liquid from the beans. No, I cooked them. Yes, I cooked them. I came in and the question was, were these canned beans or dried beans? And these were dried beans that I picked up this afternoon when I came in, and with my trusty pressure cooker, got them cooked in 10 minutes. So now everything is in there except for tomatoes. And that's it. So I put the cup of bean liquid in, and now the tomatoes go in. This is crushed tomatoes, a can of crushed tomatoes. Now, like I say, the beans are already cooked. So what the pressure cooker is going to be doing now is just marrying flavors. I'm going to add just a little more of the cooking liquid. Okay, so again, it was dried beans. If you want to use canned beans, you can, but you still are going to want to get some liquid in there because you don't have that much liquid in canned beans. So you can use stock if you want to. if you don't want to use the dried beans. Dried beans, are usually like what the recipe says. Dried beans are can be kind of time consuming if you don't have a pressure cooker. Or this one was I did a speed soak with the dried beans, these are small black beans. So with 1 cup of beans, it's 3 cups of water for the first cup of beans. And then for every other cup after that, it's an additional 2 cups of water. So I had 2 cups of dried black beans and 5 cups of water in the pressure cooker. And it was only on, once the pressure came up on the pressure cooker, it was only a minute. Only a minute with the pressure on high. And then I moved the pressure cooker off of the eye of the heating element, and I put a timer on for 10 minutes. And then the pressure comes down naturally, and I opened up the pressure cooker, and the beans were done.